Legends. We have got Richard here, owner of STM Fit. You guys might have seen him from a couple of podcast episodes, the interview we did a while back with him. But we were just on a call and we were chatting about, business and everything. And he was telling me about some cool stuff that he's doing. Maybe 6 months ago now, I helped Richard get a VA for his business, which I think all gym owners should do. But then he was telling me about how he actually gets a VA to help do some of the social media, but also get new leads and appointments booked in from people just from social media without using ads, which is an additional in stream that you can use on top of your paid ads as a secondary flow. So it'd be really cool. And we got the baby as well. Richard's had a baby. Like I had one probably a couple of weeks back, and Richard's about 4 months ago. So it's all babies and dads everywhere. But Richard, fill us in, man. Because we were just saying that if people comment on your ads or even on just your social media posts and engage with you, she's then engaging back and then getting their contact information and getting new signups that way as well.
Yeah, completely. And it required a little bit of work at the start, because I still remember when people were initially responding to like the Facebook ads, and they were doing comments like, "Oh, what's the price and what's the time?" All of these very normally, I guess, short answer questions. And what we are ideally always looking to do, because our services is more around small group personal training. So it's much more than just a $9 per week gym membership. But the only way you'll ever be able to communicate that is through a coach's call. So our end goal, or what we're always trying to get from it, is that person's number, so we can give them a phone call. We can make that sale then over the phone, or we can do the first part of the sale over the phone and then catch up with them down at the studio. So
that's to cut in. That's actually a really good distinction, because there is a lot of activity usually once you start advertising. There's a lot of other activity that then goes on because you're in the public eye. And one of the big things is people comment on your ad itself, or they will see your ad and then they'll either message the page instead, or they'll go and find your website and then start like maybe entering in something or finding out stuff from your website over that way. So, and then emailing you or something, right? So you'll start to get this extra rise. But let's talk more about the social media side of things. So you've got ads running with us, then people comment on the ad or any of your other social media posts for that matter. What's the process you guys go through?
Yeah, so what the VA will do nice and fast is they'll put a comment reply saying, "Hey, look, I've private messaged or direct messaged." From that point there, they'll do a bit of an introduction saying, "Hey, look, this is Josephine here, Richard's assistant from STM Fit." And from that point there, normally what she'll ask, and this seems to work really well, is kind of what their number one health and fitness goal is. So just get a little bit of that initial conversation going, because remember, people always sign up because they're wanting to achieve something or they're wanting to improve something. So we may as well make full use of that. Once they've done their response to that one, she'll then have a follow-up question along the line of, "Hey, look, that sounds great. Absolutely love your goal. If you can please just give a quick reply to this with your best phone number. One of our coaches will be in touch soon." And that way they can chat through your goal and about the gym. And it's as simple as that. So the next message is a phone number. And then from that phone number, myself or one of the other trainers are able to call up, and we're able to do everything else from there. So the end effect you've got is all of these people which have commented on your ads, which you're paying money for. So not only are you getting the leads directly into whichever sheet it is, but you can also get additional leads on top of that, and they're hot ones, just through the virtual assistant doing a really quick comment, and then the normal sales thing of getting in touch with someone kind of as soon as possible.
That's awesome. And I think the key here that I'm taking away from this is, for anybody else watching this or listening to this, is simple, right? Just keep it simple.
Super simple. Like whatever script you're using for it, it should be a very easy script to use. It can be pretty much universal, and you're going to get a really good idea of the response as far as, well, the feedback as far as the responses go. So for instance, for us, the one we're using currently, that one, yeah, we're just getting phone numbers kind of left, right, and center. So it's, yeah, very high strike rate.
That's cool.
Whereas if you're using one where it hasn't quite been worded right, it doesn't have that welcoming aspect, it doesn't have that bit of personality, you won't get the same response from it. And I think asking initially, hey, look, what's your number one health and fitness goal? What would you really like to achieve? Is a really nice way to start, because it's like with the phone sales call. You want to be, particularly at the start of it, asking a few more questions rather than kind of spouting and just jumping straight into some heavy sales.
Yeah, I agree. And I think another key point there is make it friendly, make it warm and welcoming, and make it not like official. Good evening, sir. You know, nothing like that. Make it sound like how you would chat to one of your friends on Facebook chat or like on via text message. Like, hey, mate, just seen you. Like if it's a dude, hey, mate, just seen you comment. Like use mate slang, you know, things like that. If it's a younger crowd, you can use the bros and stuff like that. But if it's the ladies, you know, like tailor it to the crowd that you're speaking to. And so if you're like a Pilates studio and you're like, you could write, hi, lovely. I've seen that you've, you know, however they would like to be addressed and how they'd normally chat. I think that's a really good key takeaway. For anything, any form of communication, whether it be verbal or written, it needs to be very conversational, especially in a sales environment.
Yeah, completely. Because I mean that first bit's always about building the relationship and that trust side of things. So yeah, starting with a nice conversation is such the way to go. And the good thing is when you communicate, I guess, with your team, why it's important to do that initial bit of welcoming and why it's important for it then to later on go on to the coach's call, because it gives us the maximum chance of actually helping this person the best way possible, then it flows really nicely.
Awesome. And so I'm trying to pick out the little gold nuggets here that might not seem so obvious on the surface. The other thing is that the person that is doing the message is saying, hi, I'm Richard's assistant, which instantly then puts Richard, who's the owner of the gym, in a power position, meaning like, oh, cool. So I don't get to speak to Richard right away. It's like, I'm speaking with his assistant first. And so then I'm going to find out little bits and pieces about him. So that thing there actually helps a lot in sales, like having the appointment setter and then having the closer. And a little tip here, I know you've probably got something to add on to this, but I've got a little tip for anybody that's listening to this yet and they're going, yeah, but I don't have an assistant, or yeah, but I don't have a VA. Well, guess what? Make up an imaginary one, and then you could like just say her name's Sarah, and you could go, hi, I'm Sarah, I'm Jimmy's assistant. And then you could type because they don't see her face. And then you go, great, I've set an appointment for you to meet with Jimmy tomorrow, or here's the phone number, Jimmy will call you tomorrow. And you can be that same person, but the perception of that is of an appointment setter and the actual person of expertise.
Love it. So well put. And it's that 100%, because you don't really want them asking 101 health and fitness questions to your virtual assistant. I mean, it's not their role. And it's like when you go to the doctor and you initially see a receptionist, I mean, at that point in time, you're not pouring your heart and soul and all your health information out to that person and expecting to get the right result back. It's a case of, you're chatting with that person to make that initial booking, or they're making it accessible so you can go and see the doctor. Once you go and see the doctor, everything else happens there. So yeah, very much that relationship there where you've got your assistant who's doing that first bit, and then the coaches are actually in a position where they're able to help that bit further. And it's going to set you apart from a number of other gyms where you've got people on front desk, admin teams who don't know anything, but all of a sudden are kind of pretending to know stuff. And I mean, they'll always get caught out.
Yeah. Okay. I really like that. And do you ever try and book an appointment via message, or do you just simply get the phone number and then go, we'll call you? And, say, hey, look, great. How about we set you up with a free 7-day pass to try the gym? Or how about we set you up with an appointment to meet with Richard tomorrow? He's got this time and this time. What time would work for you? Have you ever tried that?
So yeah, what we've found, and I guess this side of things has been equally interesting. Phone calls, I mean, will always trump everything else. There's correct lead up stuff like text messages beforehand, making sure they're going to attend and all the rest. But if you can have a phone call when someone's at their motivation peak, I'd always make use of that opportunity. And then the other thing we've found, which tends to work best with the 7-day trials, is you need to set realistic expectations for them and almost downsell them a little bit. Because for whatever reason, some people think at the end of 7 days, they're going to see a massive shift in weight, they're going to be a whole heap stronger, and they're going to be a whole heap fitter. Now, that doesn't happen. I mean, really, the goal across 7 days is for them to meet your members or meet your community, meet your trainers, and get a feel for your training style and take it easy and attend a couple of sessions. I mean, if they do that, that's a perfect 7-day trial. And then they're in a place at the end of the 7 days where you can have a chat with them and you can kind of make those decisions from there. Otherwise, yeah, with the 7-day trial, you can run into the issue, if this isn't communicated beforehand, where for whatever reason, they set the expectation on themselves of, I've got to attend each and every one of those 7 days. And if they miss a day, they're kind of disappointed in themselves and they're disappointed in you. It's really, really weird. So long story short, always aim for phone calls first. If I can't do a phone call, the next one would actually be a calendar booking. If they just want to do a 7-day trial, yeah, I'd look to get them in on the 7-day trial, but then the aim is always to touch base with them on day 1, if possible, because that's such an important day. And as long as you can do that quick bit of a debrief, then you're going to do pretty well across the 7-day trials as well.
Yeah. And if you guys are listening to this on the podcast, go back to my podcast episode where I think it's called How to Sell 7-Day Free Passes. And so it gives you a whole sales process, exactly how to sign them up on day 1 for a membership, even though they're coming in on a 7-day free pass. In an ethical, really, really cool way to the person, where you're not doing anything sneaky, but where you're actually helping them achieve their goals.
And I think that is so good, because a 7-day trial is only a 7-day trial, and it's memberships make so much more sense, because whatever that person's after health and fitness wise, it's going to be membership based. It's not going to be 7-day based ever.
Yep. And they've just got to, and that happens with a conversation, the sale, obviously. And so I think that's the difference with what a lot of people will try and figure out. And I think going back to the whole VA or having your own assistant, and I'm putting quotes, if you don't have a VA yet, I highly recommend you get one. But if you want to implement this strategy right away, just make up an imaginary assistant and start messaging as if you're that guy or girl, and then putting you in a bit more of a power position, and it's just literally going through the simple steps of not trying to sell. And if there's questions that they start asking that are detailed, just go, you know what, that's actually out of my wheelhouse and my expertise. Richard will be able to answer that for you tomorrow on the phone call.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll even say, hey, look, it can be a really short conversation. Like there are 2 key things we've got to find out: a little bit about your goals, and then we can tell you about the gym. And you say that 5 or 10 minutes, but what always happens, once you get someone chatting, they just keep talking.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you've probably got a 20-minute call there. And once again, bring it back to, this person has responded to the ad for a reason. Like there's something that they want help with, and for you to be professionally responsible, you should give yourself and themselves and them obviously the best chance of being able to get there and to achieve that goal. And it's not by often giving quick 1 or 2 word answers. And I guess one of the things that we're doing now on top of it, some people are real information junkies, like they need tons and tons and tons of information. And I think for them, it makes a lot of sense to do something like a YouTube playlist, have member testimonials, and have that as somewhere where you can go, hey, look, I understand you're wanting a whole heap of information. Look, these are some of the people that we've worked with. If you jump on there, look, very welcome to view their videos, and they should give you a little bit more insight.
Yeah, that's cool. And then so you have a couple of like assets at your disposal like that. So if it does get that way, you can like, cool, Rich is going to call you tomorrow, but check this out. Here's all a bunch of people in the meantime that you can go and check out. Or is it before they give you the phone number, or both?
Normally it's actually really easy for us to get phone numbers.
Cool. And so I think just to go back then, it's don't overcomplicate it. If someone comments on an ad, it's particularly an ad for whatever your service is. It doesn't matter what industry or what business you're in, but always specific with gyms here, right? They're obviously interested in health and fitness to some degree or another. They've got a problem or they've got a goal that they want to achieve. You're right. They've got a problem they want to solve or a goal they want to achieve. And then it's literally just taking that conversation into Messenger and then going through that process. Hey, what's your number one goal? Another question that we have used in the past is flipping that initial question. What's your number one struggle or frustration when it comes to your health and fitness? And so then you can ask that one, and then you can ask, cool, what's your number one goal? You go, cool. And you go, you know what? I get it. Struggling with that sort of stuff. And then you can empathize with them on their pains and their frustrations. You can empathize with them, go, cool, 100% understand that. In fact, most of our best clients that have been with us in our gym here experienced the exact same thing before starting out. And then you could go ask for the phone number. We can definitely help you with that. But I think what would be best is having a phone call without, how do you phrase that message to get the phone number? After you ask the goal question, how do you sort of frame that message to get the phone number?
I'd have to have a quick look at the paragraph, but it's a couple of lines of that. It's something along the lines of the next step we normally do from here is book you in for a coach's call where they'll chat through your goals and the gym side of things. What's the best number for our coach to reach you on? It's either that or very, very close to that. And because you've done that initial bit of welcoming and also that initial bit around the goals, I mean, they're good to go. Like they're looking forward to and they're primed for that phone call. And I guess if you've got access to a team where you've got multiple people who can make that call, that's where you can put that phone number into a separate chat. And you can say, hey, look, team, who's got first opportunity to contact Charles? And then all of a sudden you've got Thomas from your team who's like, yeah, 5 minutes, I'm on the phone, I'm calling. So.
I love it. That's cool. And we've talked about just on ads, but you can literally use this for your social media content. So if they're engaged with your Instagram stories, same sort of thing, right? Because then they're already in your chat, right? They're already in your DMs. So same thing can happen there.
Oh, completely. Look, if someone's done a like or a share or pretty much anything, it's always worth starting that initial conversation and just seeing where things go. Like, I mean, a like can definitely be an indicator that this person's looking around the health and fitness side of things. They've seen something which you've done and they are at least that little bit interested.
And so I think you have to reference the fact that they liked such and such post, right? Hey, I saw you liked our post on blah, 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 blah. Cool. That's awesome. And then you go, cool. You don't go straight into what's your goals and stuff. You just sort of acknowledge that and see if they respond back.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, it's you can't jump forwards like those 4 steps. So to be like, if someone liked it and then you're just like, oh, can I have your phone number, please? I mean, that's too aggressive. You're missing those like earlier 3 steps. But yeah, you're right. If you start that conversation right, And with the likes, it can be as simple as the virtual assistant going, look, thanks so much for the likes. We love what we do with the health and fitness side of things. Do you have any health and fitness goals at the moment? And then once again, you just kind of funnel that into a very
you
similar
go back to that
conversation.
same process
Yeah,
that we spoke
yeah,
about. That's awesome, dude. So to go back, anyone that comments on your ads, anyone that comments on your posts, anyone that likes any of your posts, and this is on Facebook and Instagram, and also if anybody engages with your Instagram stories as well, which is like they're already in your DMs once they engage with that. Even if it's like they do the fire emoji thing or whatever, you can be
yeah.
like, yeah, thanks, man. And then you can start the same sort of, like, it's all the same, right? The strategy is all the same. And I think it's about having a process then of somebody, whether it's you or somebody on your team, to be able to do that follow up each day.
Depending what they've put comment wise as well. Sometimes you can have kind of short comments within the thread, but what normally happens where you're asking for phone numbers and all the rest, obviously that needs to be done in the direct message or the private message, just for pretty obvious reasons.
Yep. Awesome. Richard, you're a bloody legend, mate. Every time I chat, we always have some good banter. And
yeah,
some,
good times, eh, Jimmy?
chats. It's like, and for everyone listening, you probably could hear babies in the background. My one's going this way. Richard's is going over there. So that's the world we live in. Everyone working from home these days. So Richard, again, thanks for coming on. And if anybody, if you got value from this, please share it with another friend, another fellow business owner, another fellow gym owner, even if you're a fitness professional. Share it around. And until next time, legends, I'll chat to you soon. Peace.
Cheers, Jimmy. Catch up.